5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What is going on, everybody? Hope you all are having a fantastic Wednesday. I know I was before I spilt my water all over my computer desk, but that's in the past. I have a nice cold beer now and everything's much, much better. No Jamie today. He is still on vacation. So we got me, GG Sports Podcast representing, and Dave from Minnesota Sports Talk here for you guys on the Skol Experience tonight. Dave, how are we doing this evening?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I can't wait till some shit happens, you know?
Yeah,
I can't.
right?
I mean, Nelson Aguilar signed and someone else signed today, so that
Theo
must
Jackson,
you know,
Theo Jackson
hopefully
was extended.
What's that?
Theo Jackson was extended today, I saw.
Oh, Theo Jackson. So, hey, the dominoes are falling. You know, these big names are re-signing, so that means, you know, hey, the big names. That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. But before we get any further, we do got to do some shout outs here. We got people in already. Skol Mafia and Gary were both in before we even got here. Thank you guys so much for hopping in tonight. We got Dylan. Dylan, how's it going tonight? Jamie is so part-time at this point. It sure would seem that way, wouldn't it? And Raymond, thank you so much for hopping in. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Dave, what's the weather like down in Florida today? What do you guys got for temps?
Freaking awesome. That's what it is.
I mean, I got to say, for Minnesota, it was
beautiful, clear skies, hovering around 70s.
Okay, 70s. It hit 49 today in Minnesota. In freaking
shorts weather.
End of February. I know. I almost thought about
it. Socks and Birkenstocks weather back in the day.
Right. But anyway, we actually did have some. I guess over the last week, we're a little bit behind on this, obviously, with Jamie being on vacation. We on our side haven't really gotten to talk about any of this stuff yet, but there were a few Vikings hot rumors and news nuggets that popped up. Again, are any of them legit? Who knows? It is peak BS season in the NFL. But one of the biggest ones that circulated Twitter, I believe it was late last week or over the weekend, the whole Justin Jefferson thing. I wanted to start off with that one. This quote unquote report from Vikings fan page. The Vikings are hesitant to give Justin Jefferson fully guaranteed money after the first year in a new deal, from Pro Football Talk. And now I'm a staunch Purple for the Win watcher. I watch him every morning when I'm making my lunches before work. And he brought up one of the greatest points I saw with all this rumor and the rumor mill stuff here is to like take the rumor and try to like get it back to a legitimate source who has legitimate inside information. And you see Pro Football Talk there. This is just coming straight from the mouth of Mike Florio. Yes, he has some inside knowledge. Yes, obviously he's on Sunday Night Football and he gets a lot of inside information. But if you read his actual comments on the whole ordeal here, I can confidently say Justin Jefferson is very patient, but his patience will have its limits. Basically saying it's not about the dollars, but the structure. The Vikings are one of the few teams that basically he's saying don't want to give fully guaranteed money beyond the first year to any position but the quarterback. And when you first read this, and a lot of like the fan page stuff on Twitter kind of took off with it and just started making it sound like this was legitimate, 100% factual truth. I do think this is, and if you really like read through the whole article from Mike Florio, there were a lot of I believe, and here's what I think. So I'm not taking any of this to be legit. I think they know that with Justin Jefferson, if you want to keep him, which is a smart business decision and a smart decision for your football team, especially if you want to bring in a young new quarterback down the road. This is a ridiculous sentiment, and I take until I see a legitimate source / report. And I get it. I'm not saying Florio is illegitimate by any means, but I definitely do think that there's a little bit of what he thinks about the team, what he knows about how this team has operated in the past, and maybe he's talking more Wilfs than he is Kwesi and the front and the other front office people. But I don't know, man. I read that, and I don't see anybody on this team actually having those opinions that they don't want to give Justin. And I understand, like, maybe not fully guarantees are a little bit scary, but only 1 year guaranteed on a new deal. I think that's a little bit. I don't believe it. I'm not buying what he's cooking for me. How about you? What are your thoughts?
Anything less than 3 years of guaranteed money to a receiver of that caliber is just asinine. So I just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't pass the smell test, but it. Yeah, how anybody would believe that is beyond me. I mean, he'd be gone.
Right.
He'd be trading him right now.
Absolutely.
To someone who will pay him more than 1 year guaranteed.
Right. And like,
this is so silly.
Right. And like, and again, I don't think there's been any like reliable, consistent source. I mean, or did Pelissero talk about it? How was that Pelissero that was the source behind he wants to see how the quarterback position plays out?
But even that was not according to my sources.
Right. And again, it's in this time of year, it's peak BS season. There's a bunch of news coming out. Just, I mean, there's nothing else really to talk about. The draft is still a ways away. The combine's next week, but it's a bunch of people trying to get clicks, it's all rumors. Exactly. It's a bunch of people just trying to get clicks, trying to drum up some controversy. The NFL is a year-long thing, even though the season's over. They need to keep things out there to keep things going, keep the news cycle spinning. And this was just one of those things. Like, do I believe, because I've said it since day one with the whole extension thing. I said, JJ will not play next year without a new extension from us or somebody else. I know that we have team control over him, plus one more year, plus his contract holds if he holds out, plus you have 2 times the franchise tag him. Don't think it's going to get to that. If he wants out, he'll find a way to get out because we'll start getting trade offers and we'll be able to make a trade with him. But I don't know. I believe the fact that he wants to see what's the future of it, the future at quarterback is, because that's how he gets his stats. That's how he produces on the field, is having a legitimate quarterback or a quarterback that knows how to play football throwing him the ball. So and just from a pure trying to I brought this up before in the business world. Like if you go to interview for a job, yes, you're interviewing and trying to sell yourself, but they also need to sell you the future of the company. And that's kind of where I think JJ's at. Like, he's like, sure, I want to be here. I know you guys want me, but I need to see what you're at the most important position in all team sports. What direction are you going to take? I need to see that before I sign anything. And I think that's 100% fair.
Yeah, I mean, this is something we thought a lot. Any side of the coin, either side of the coin, Kirk or no Kirk, we thought that he would want to see where the quarterback direction would go. So it's almost like water is wet news. But it's funny how, in the first couple of interviews, he's asked, what do you think what this, what do you think the Rich Eisen says, what do you think the quarterback, how it's going to unfold? He goes, I want him back. I would love to have him back. And then like the next interview talks about where I'm at today because of Kirk Cousins. And then 3 interviews later, he says, I'll play hard no matter who's throwing me the ball. All that other stuff was, what is he supposed to say? What is he supposed to say in this last, and then the last interview later, like 3 interviews later, he talks about how he'll play hard no matter what. Also, water is wet news. I think we all think Justin Jefferson is going to play hard, but then that was proof that he's wanting to move on from Kirk. And then now it's he's looking at the quarterback, and he'll figure out where that direction goes before he makes a decision. But the only one we'll pay attention to is the one where he's talking about without Kirk. So it's like, dude wants Kirk back. The management wants Kirk back. GM wants Kirk back, but at the right price. So just like we do, if we don't want him for too much money or too long of guaranteed. So and I do think Justin Jefferson is probably not going to be all excited if Spencer Rattler is we draft him in the 4th round, and he's going to be our quarterback, in 2024. So of course there is a limit and a direction he wants to see us go. And probably the easiest switch to flip is extend Kirk. And then you probably got a good chance of re-signing him right away. The riskier move is not signing Kirk and then trying to trade up and failing, or you might succeed. So either way, the direction will be good.
It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be such a fun offseason. Rap, thank you so much for hopping in, man. Nice seeing you here. Gary,
Nix is the truth.
Gary,
this is the way I am. If someone doesn't like somebody, I will like them even more. I am so lukewarm on Bo Nix, but now that Rap constantly doesn't like him, he's okay. He said he'd be okay with him if we draft him in like the 2nd round or something, and everybody else was gone. He's a 6 quarterback, so I have him at like 4, I think, possibly 5. I don't know, but the fact that someone will trash on Bo Nix makes me like him even more.
Gary, by the way, 110% chance that we'll be mocking tonight. After we're done with all this other conversation, we'll definitely get into that. Skolden, thank you so much for hopping in, man. Appreciate it. Who's that dude? Thank you for hopping in as well. JJ will be fine with any of the top 4 quarterbacks. I agree 100%. I just think he wants to see that, and I do think it's in the cards. I mean, I think everybody's kind of talked about it being in the cards that this team wants to draft its future quarterback this year. So I do think, like, last year I was hopeful it was going to happen. This year I really do think that it's going to happen. And I think that's all JJ needs to see before he signs the deal, is that we're working towards a future plan. And I think that's pretty much, and if I see the comment, we'll talk about it, but I'm just going to say right up front here, I am not team trade JJ. I don't think trading JJ and then drafting your quarterback makes any sense, because by the time that because I think this offense is perfectly fine for a young quarterback to step into and take the reins of either next year or the year after. And I think that trading away Justin Jefferson, yes, you get more draft picks. You build up your team around your rookie quarterback. By the time that you're ready to compete again, it's going to be time to pay your quarterback. And we're sitting right back in the same scenario we are, where we're talking about, are we paying our quarterback too much money to succeed? And it's a whole big deal. So I am not on team trade JJ, and that's the main reason why.
But one of the conundrums I find people in is how they're for years that I've been listening to them complaining about paying one guy you just can't pay one guy that much. You can't pay that one guy that much. Oh, Justin Jefferson needs a contract? Shit. Throw the bank at him. I'm on for team JJ too, man. I am, but I always find it funny when I listen to Matt Collier over here on this. He's been complaining about paying one guy that much money, and then now he's like, "Oh, Justin Jefferson, you got to do that. You got to do that. It's okay. You can pay a guy that much money." And I'm like, that's completely contrary. That's why I try not to get stuck in like a pigeonhole situation where I like, hey, I've been saying this whole time. Leave your options open. Talk about stuff. That's the way I look at it, man. Let me ask you this. So Justin Kirk doesn't get re-signed.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do get one of the top 4 quarterbacks. And let's say JJ McCarthy is one of those top 4. And that's one of the situations I want to do today.
Yeah.
Think he signs immediately, or you think he waits till the OTAs, after OTAs, or even into the camp? I think he would. I think he would wait.
I mean,
or at least OTAs. Because maybe right before camp. I think
right. Because that's normally when extensions get done. Is that because obviously players start rolling back in before camp starts, and that's kind of when teams in the representation finish. I think they have the deal kind of down. That's just when they iron out the final details and it gets signed. So.
Yeah, I assume after OTAs, before camp hits, like right before. He might even sit out a few camps with I don't know, like TJ Hawkinson. He might be a little dizzy or something. I don't know. That might have been real though. That might have been real.
But why you pay a wide receiver that much money? Because he's the best wide receiver in the league, and if you're going to draft a young quarterback, you want to give him the best wide receiver in the league to throw to. And I think that's a great a great scenario. So
here's another reason. And this is, I've been talking about, if we draft the quarterback of the future and he sucks, we have a player we can reset our franchise with. And he's teaching the one guy. He's the big money maker. The quarterback's on the rookie contract. We can afford him because of that. Well, 3 years down the road, he sucks. He's terrible, the quarterback. We could trade JJ for just as much as we could trade him right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly.
Absolutely.
He would have 5 to 10 teams wanting to trade for him. We may have to eat some contract. Who knows? I don't know, but I think we could get off scot-free and still get around 2 first-round picks.
Right. By the way, Johnny, thank you so much for hopping in, man. We appreciate it. What else we got here? What's more important to a young quarterback is a good defense and running, not the best receiver. And I don't know. I mean, I see the point. I definitely do, but I just think the reason that everyone thinks this team is so ready to draft a quarterback is because we have the perfect offense to plop him into. And trading JJ, I just feel like turns the clock back years on that, right? Like, I don't know. I just think, and then, I mean, look, the other big part is, yes, we are expecting. I mean, the big part of this is if you're going to pay a receiver that much money, have your rookie quarterback. Yes, you're going to have to make some good signings on the defense, right? I mean, yes, you're paying the receiver a lot of money, but you'll still have some money. Like, you won't need to worry about paying your quarterback for a few years. You'll still have some money to throw around on some defensive pieces, giving yourself probably a good 2 to 3 year window, which I think around the league, that's kind of that's a lot of times that's kind of what you get, right? Unless you have freaking Patrick Mahomes. But like, I don't know. I just think it's a perfect scenario for a young quarterback to come into. And then it really all does come down to Kwesi. And that's the big part of this, right? I mean, we're expecting him to draft a quarterback in the future. It does come down to him being able to draft better. And that's why I think this year is going to be a huge year for the future of this franchise, to see A, if he can get the quarterback of the future, and B, if he can take input from his other front office people, take input from the coaching staff, like Brian Flores on those defensive draft picks. And he needs to start hitting on some of these draft picks. I mean, that's what it all comes down to. Like, the good teams, like, yeah, you pay some people a lot of money, but you also are able to keep drafting well and rotating those pieces out to where, like, yeah, you do need to make some tough decisions. Like, maybe you can't keep this edge rusher, or you can't keep this tackle, but if you draft well enough, you can just keep those rotating pieces while still having a couple huge pieces like your quarterback and your wide receiver. So I don't know. I just think with the scenario this team is in, the reason, I've said it before, the reason why everybody thinks this team is so ready to draft a quarterback is because they have an offense fit for a young quarterback to be in. That's my opinion on the whole deal.
Yeah. You said it all, man. You got a tight end, you got 2 receiving weapons. What you don't have is a running game, and that'd be nice. So I'm about to do an interview, and I'm gonna ask him, Luke Braun from Locked On Vikings. I'm gonna ask him about, I asked this to Rap on Skol Rants. Who's at fault, the running backs, the line, or Kevin O'Connell for the lack of running game? And it might be a combination of all three, but yeah, an elite running back probably could solve a lot of problems. It could solve a lot of problems, and maybe we can get one in the draft. It would be cheaper, but take a few shots at it. I expect us to draft a tight end and a running back in this draft, just because of TJ being out and the way our running game has been. I think we're gonna do another shot. I mean, Ty Chandler, I'm high on still. I am still not high on. He couldn't block shit in that last game, and I was defending him for the previous few weeks. So I don't know how good he is at the full game of playing running back. Mm-hmm. And that comes down to, are we comfortable putting him in there? And maybe we're not. And that's why Cam Akers was good at. Those are things he was good at. He was like the complete back. He might not have been elite, but he was good at everything. And that's what it might be nice to bring him back if he's healthy.
Right, for sure. All right, moving on to the other piece of hot Vikings news that came out this week. So now, before we get into this one, I'm going to ask everybody, us included, that take this news, and if we're going to comment things, if we're going to talk to each other about things, speak with logic, and don't let your emotion take control, because we're about to talk about, of course, the most controversial member of this Vikings team, which we've already talked about a little bit tonight, and that is quarterback Kirk Cousins. So again, keep the emotions out of it. Just calm down. Nobody get too fired up.
So emotional right now.
Because again, but not yet, but I've seen how these things work out, and usually it gets to be things between comments and people everywhere. So let's get into this. All right. So this is from Albert Breer, Sports Illustrated. The current Minnesota Vikings brass, now going into the third season, really likes Kirk Cousins, but has also made clear they're not going to go contractually where the previous regime did twice and give Kirk Cousins a fully guaranteed deal. Then follow that up with, for what it's worth, Vikings and Cousins camps did touch base last week. Probably hear more clarity with the scouting combine coming up in the following week here. So those are the rumors. Those are the things out there. Again, there is no legitimate who said what. You got to figure, if this is legitimate news, it did get leaked. It probably got leaked from one side or the other. This sound, I again think that's kind of thing with all the news this time of year is, if it is real news, one of the sides did leak it to try to gain some sort of leverage here. What do you think? What do you think about this quote unquote rumor? Is it true? Is it BS?
Well, the first thing I would ask is, where did they make it clear?
What's going on, Zoe? What's going on, man?
Where did they make it clear? Find me a quote somewhere where the brass has made it clear that they won't go beyond 1 year. I would be objective and judicial about it by saying maybe that was from last March, and maybe it was the deal breaker or why they saved it for this March. So if that's what he's talking about, clear, maybe that's what he's talking about. I don't know, but that might have been the hanging point. Was last March, and it was reported on March 27th, and then Kirk later talked about it in June when he came back for camp, that when he was asked about it, that he wasn't going to talk until this March, and that's where we're at. Apparently, it's good news. They talked a week ago. Great. So last March, I think it was originally Kirk wanted 3. They said 1. He said 2, but probably guaranteed. I think that was the gist of people, I thought. And then like, hey, they gave him a stalemate, probably about the 2 years guaranteed, and that's why he didn't re-sign. And now we're at March, and he has probably increased in value play-wise, but decreased the fact that he's injured. So
it's stuff that was actually like talked about this week, which is the only reason we're talking about it. I mean, you do what you do. You do what you want to do, man. If you don't want to be here, that's 100% fine. But this is we're talking about things that are actually somewhat new and newsworthy. We're not talking about the old shit that everybody's talking about for the last 2 years. It's some new stuff. So,
hey, get on our conference call and tell us what exactly you want us to talk about, T-Bass. And then we'll talk exactly what you want to talk about.
This is like real stuff that's actually came out, which is like the only reason why I want to bring it up. Like, I don't enjoy talking about Kirk Cousins either, because it's always
breaking news.
It's like
Kirk Cousins, the Vikings aren't going to offer a second-year fully guaranteed contract. You know what? We shouldn't talk about this.
Because it's important. It's like it's the future. It's like it literally is like the biggest domino that does need to fall here.
You can hate me for.
I don't think I said it yet. Welcome in. Thanks for hopping in, man. We appreciate that. Chi Town Vibe, you as well. Thanks so much for hopping in.
Man, I'm leaving. I want everybody to know I'm walking out the door.
I mean, it's okay. It's okay. I'm just saying, like, it's stuff that does need to be talked about because it is somewhat new. Like, again, I'm sick of all the Kirk Cousins back and forth as well, which is why I said don't speak on emotion. Just take a deep breath, and everything's going to be just fine.
Was it okay to talk about Cam Akers?
I'd be fine with trading for Trey Lance.
It's okay to talk about Cam Akers. I talked about Cam Akers right before we talked about that, and you know what? We're probably done talking about it now. We just gave our take on it. But I would like to know where it was clear. And I'm thinking the only thing I can think of was last March. That's the only thing I can think of.
So I don't know. It's interesting stuff. And again, like, do I think it's legit? Like, of course. Like, I don't think, again, with the fact that he was already 36 years old, that he's 36, coming off the Achilles. Like, I think it's smart for the front office not to want to give him multi-years guaranteed. Like, I get it, especially when they do want to look towards the future. Like, what they want is probably one more year. And like next year, if they decide like, hey, our rookie, we drafted a rookie, we have our second-year quarterback, he's really good. Well, we can just we can trade Kirk Cousins then, or cut him with not having to worry about his fully guaranteed contract. That's where I think this comes from. And I think it's 100% a smart thing.
I've been in sales since
absolutely Skol Mafia.
I've been in sales in a long time. Let's just say, I don't want to date myself, but I'm 50. And I put out a quote and they come back, this is too expensive. I'm like, okay, what on this quote do you feel like you could do without to make this quote be less expensive? And that's negotiation. He's wanting it cheaper. I'm like, well, what can you do without? And then he goes, no, I want everything. I'm like, okay. Do you feel like this is not doing everything you need? You know, it's just negotiation, and this could be being released by both sides of the camp. Kirk, who knows? Maybe that was real, that he wanted $90 million 2 years. But then, what about that 185 3-year or whatever, that 3-year fully guaranteed deal that we heard? Was that real?
Atlanta, yeah, like 3 years.
Yeah, was that real?
Like 33 million.
Is this real? What's real? No, it could be put out by the camps, and it often doesn't. I do talk to a dude that gets fed information. He got fed information about Danielle Hunter. He got fed information about Dalvin Cook, and it was bullshit. But they wanted that to get out there to get New York to pay Cook more. They did that that, hey, the Vikings are offering this, so then New York could go in and try to pay him more, or Miami, think were the two teams at the time.
Mhm.
So yeah, this happens all the time.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it could be completely real, or it could be completely bullshit.
Right.
It's
We got to have a segment when it comes to Vikings news. It could be called legit or bullshit, and I think it would be fantastic. It'd be fun. It'd be
legit or
fun because, like,
bullshit.
especially this time of year, because all this stuff comes out, and you don't know what to believe. Luft, thank you for dropping in, man. Appreciate it. Why is this news? That the Vikings already made up their minds, or have they? Who really knows, man? And like Skol Mafia said, like once we hit that March 11th, the legal tampering period, that's when things are really going to start to come around. Chi-Town Bikes, trade for Trey Lance, build around him. San Francisco saw something in him. I'd be fine with that. For the Vikings are coming for Drake May. I'll take 3 1s and the 3. I don't doubt that whatsoever. And if they went for Drake May, I would be ecstatic. If they went for any of those top 3 guys to trade up, I would be absolutely ecstatic. And I do think it's going to cost a lot. Because again, the jump from like 11 to 3, does it necessarily cost you 3 1s? No. But if a team knows you're coming up for a quarterback and they know you want to trade up to whatever pick to get him, you're gonna pay more than it's worth. Trey Lance probably sucks though.
I want to talk about Trey Lance. So let's look Trey Lance contract.
I mean, he's still on a good deal, right?
Yeah, but yeah, he was first round. They didn't extend it. They didn't take his 5th-year option, right? Lance sort of drafted for a number 3 pick. Okay, Lance contract. Okay, so I believe he's in his last. 2024 is last year of his contract.
He has 1 more year left.
All right, what are you paying him? That's all I'm worried about. Are you going to pay him for what you hope he'd be?
Well, he has. Well,
he's not. He's going to try to have a prove it. You know, if he's going to start this year, he'd want to have a prove it. This is his prove it year. So he might. Who knows? He balls out. He might not be on our team the next year. He might go straight into free agency.
Yeah, because this is his last year on the deal, right?
Yeah,
and they
24.
didn't pick up his.
Didn't pick up his 5th.
Okay. We saw that Kwesi is not scared to trade, right? And then there was also, if you want to talk about rumors, there was the rumors from last month that Kwesi, like, it basically said, like, if there's an avenue he wants to go to get somebody, he's going to try his hardest to get there. He's not always guaranteed to do it, but if he wants to make a trade, he will try everything he can to make sure it happens. So, and I mean, again, do you believe that? Do you not? Like you said, we've seen him make trades before. So, like,
I mean, we were told we really loved Will Levis, right? We were told we really loved Will Levis, and then, yeah, he had a relationship with, I think O'Connell had a relationship with
his head coach,
Kentucky's head coach. Yep. We were loved Will Levis. Well, we didn't draft him, right? Are you passing up on your franchise QB? Okay, so then the report comes out. We tried really hard to draft up to the first round. And I love this. When someone says, Kwesi has proven that he will move heaven and earth to go up and get his guy. No, he hasn't. He hasn't at all. And that's why we're probably a little skeptical of what he's going to do this year. We're all hoping, like a lot of us, I don't know about you, like who you want to go up and get, but Jaden Daniels, who I'm going to be talking about in my show. It's not going to be live, but it's going to be recorded. I'm going to put it out tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. And I'm going to ask him. He's a big Jaden Daniels fan. Luke Braun is. And I'm going to ask him about that. And one of the things he's said in one of his shows was he's a pocket passer that can run. And he can run really good. So
that he can.
They talk about Caleb Williams being a generational talent. I'm skeptical about that, but I am.
That's fair.
I think Jaden Daniels is as close as you can get to generational if his high end and both sides of the ball.
I mean,
running and passing,
right?
Stay at that level. It's going to be crazy to watch that for years to come. And one of the things I want to talk to you about for the mock draft is us not getting up to that top 3 and drafting Jaden Daniels, but maybe trading up. This being realistic, I don't think in the PFF mock draft that JJ McCarthy is going to be sitting there at the 12th pick in the 2nd round like he has been.
Right.
So there's talk about, hey, Atlanta moving up and getting them at whatever spot. So I'm thinking, hey, we do a trade up in the top 10 somewhere and take JJ McCarthy and then work our magic the rest of the draft. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean that's and I think that's kind of like the again rumor
because
at
we
this
all look
point.
great having the on low of position priority and having Jaden Daniels fall to us to 12
Right, exactly.
or 11.
Because and I think Daniel Jeremiah, he did his first mock draft, or maybe it was the second one this last week or earlier this week, and he had JJ McCarthy going number 8. And I know like that guy knows a lot. He's got he's got ears everywhere. He's one of one of the biggest draft insiders there is on NFL Network. And the fact that he had JJ McCarthy going top 10, like there might be some legitimate smoke there that this could be a legit possibility. By the way, Barber, I didn't miss you. Sorry, we were deep in conversation. Thank you so much for hopping in, man. Definitely appreciate you joining.
Chi-Town said something here I want to talk about. He said that
is it the too light thing?
Because too light in pants.
Because that is a concern. He is a little bit undersized. He's
apparently,
but he's tall.
So I already talked to somebody who gets like official weights, and it said it's somebody weighing in at 205. So he's not the 185 in the past, but that's almost the exact same weight as JJ McCarthy. So and Kirk Cousins.
Right. Absolutely. Skol Mafia, I'm good with trading up for any four quarterbacks. I'd be happy with any of them. Absolutely, man. I 100% agree. I mean, I'm working myself into JJ McCarthy. I haven't really watched him yet. I've watched Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and I just basically finished up Michael Penix, who I actually do like Michael Penix. Story for a different day. But JJ McCarthy, man, like everything I'm hearing, people are really starting to kind of come around to him. So that's it'll be interesting to see if that's the direction that they do decide to go. But
makes you feel good, like that after watching videos of the various quarterbacks and like come out of them like, Jesus, Jaden Daniels, that's my guy.
I mean, he does.
Then all of a sudden these national dudes are like Jaden Daniels.
He does seem the most consistent at everything. So I would love that pick. What do we got from Raymond here? If they really have their eyes on someone they like, go get him. And I said that, and I've said that since last year. And I wasn't really in on a lot of the quarterbacks last year, but also like I said it, I didn't love Anthony Richardson just because I worry about him getting hurt. But I also said like if they took him, I wouldn't be mad because like if there's a guy they love, no matter where it's at, you take him. Like don't Christian Ponder this thing. Like don't take a quarterback just because you feel like you need to take a quarterback. But
we were just too deep to get the guys I want. I mean, I wasn't, I know you were there in discussions with me about not, waiting until 2024. And this is my draft. This is the one I wanted to get into. And because I really only liked CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson. I didn't, I can't even think of any. I thought some people had promise like DTR, and I had Jaren Hall 7th, So I mean, but in the first round, I was like two dudes. I don't want a 5'10" quarterback, so I'm like Bryce Young's out, and I'm like CJ Stroud and Anthony Richardson. Those are the two guys. Those are the only guys I would have been super happy with. If we got Will Levis and we drafted him, I'm like, okay, I can see it. He's physical size and arm strength and all that. That would be me. That'd be me getting Bo Nix. I'd be like, okay, this guy, he was the number one. It would be the number one guy coming out of high school for dual threat quarterback, 4,000 some yards passing, 45 touchdowns, 50 overall. I mean, has an 80-yard touchdown run under his belt, blew by everybody in Arizona State, made him look silly. I mean, he had just, he could throw the ball deep. He can make every throw. He just can. It's just instead of JJ McCarthy's running plays, they throw slants at Oregon. So instead of running the ball, they throw slants. That's the difference, I think, between the two quarterbacks. Now, because of age-wise, I give JJ McCarthy the edge. I give him the edge because of potential. His age right now, he has everything. I think he has everything. I think he's a better scrambler than almost everybody in this draft. And he can throw on the run as good as anybody, if not better than anybody in the draft. So I like those two things.
Right. Yeah. I think that's 100% fair there. And that's one of the things I noticed, like when I was watching Michael Penix, is like he uses his legs a little more than people think, but when it comes to throwing on the run, like there's not a lot of accuracy there. Like I think he mainly runs just to be able to get the ball away, so he doesn't need to take the sack. But like like those other guys are able to extend the plays where he's more of just like getting out.
He can maneuver the pocket.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He's not a slow dude.
He has a little more mobility than people give him credit for, I think.
Yeah, he's not slow or anything. He's not a statue back there, but the injury might make him be one just to protect him. But and like JJ Vikings, he says 2 words for you: knee brace. I'm like, hey, Dan Marino had 2 big ass knee braces and he's in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
But,
I mean, as long as he doesn't take any of those horse collar tackles, like obviously you look at Sam Bradford who had the 2 knee injuries, and by the time he was 30, his knees were kind of shot, like. But
I think it was the Bears game where he got pulled and he came back from injury way too early. He gets pulled and Keenum wins the game.
Mm-hmm.
He looked terrible.
Right. Yeah, he was seeing ghosts that game, that's for sure. Troy, welcome in. Thanks for dropping in, man. Caleb is generational. He would have been the number 1 pick in the 3 drafts alone, let alone 2024 draft. And again, like that's the thing. It's the traits, right? Like he has those Mahomes like traits, but there's also some flaws there. And like he has to get in the right get in the right system with the right coaching staff in order for everything to work out for him. So, and I like him. I think the things he can do are amazing. Like the reason obviously he's highly touted because of what Patrick Mahomes can do, and people see that in him. But again, just like with Mahomes, there's question marks there. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets on the right team, and B, if he can hone what he can do on the field and make it work in the NFL. It'll be interesting.
I was thinking about this today. Mahomes is an alpha in a beta's body, and Caleb Williams is a beta in an alpha's body. I mean, until I'm proven wrong. Okay, right. Until I'm proven wrong. I just think one is just a born leader, and the other one isn't. And it doesn't mean he can't be, but I think there's got to be something to step up in him that already exists and was probably born with Pat Mahomes. Mm-hmm. You can't just look at the physical talents and traits, and they do look the same, honestly, when they're throwing and running around and stuff like that. But gosh, two people are completely different people.
Right. Well, Patrick Mahomes was the reason that Zach Wilson was the number 2 overall pick, right? Like, because Zach Wilson could do it. He had the cannon arm and he can move. But look how that worked out, right? Like there's no sure things. Like I saw Dylan mention up here that Drake May, doesn't have a ton of experience. We haven't seen a ton from Drake May. But the thing with Drake May is I liken Drake May to Justin Herbert, obviously, because the thing is he's raw, but he has the traits, right? He's tall, he's big body guy, he's got a cannon of an arm, and he can move. But you watch him, and there's also some things
like third down efficiency is not very good.
Right, like I agree. I agree with Jamie. Like he has some raw traits that need to be. But that's the thing. Like people missed out on the Justin Herbert. Like he dropped to number 8, right? Like I think there's people out there like, damn, we don't want to make that mistake again. Like this guy has all the traits, like Justin Herbert did. Big, good arm, all this stuff. Like. And they let him fall to 8. People don't want.
I'm not high on May either, but I would be pretty freaking happy if we got him because of those traits.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be happy if we got Caleb Williams. I'd be happy. I'd be happy with all these top 4 dudes. I won't be at 11. I'd be happy all 4 of them somewhere in top 11, right where we're picking, or if we go up.
Yeah,
but the one guy that really just
going on too evil
is my dude is Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the darling that a lot of Vikings fans have fell in love with for one of those top 3 quarterbacks. By the way, Too Evil, thank you so much for hopping in, man. Appreciate you. Nice seeing you. And I think he's also the most realistic option because like number 1, 2, you really feel like are going to be Caleb Williams, Drake May. And then I did see, I believe it was Dylan earlier said he doesn't really buy the Patriots drafting a quarterback because they have a lot of holes to fill. And I do think that's the hope, right? Is that they look at their team and like, damn, we need help everywhere else. So then they'd be in the scenario, bring in a young quarterback. Either A, he fails because he doesn't have any help on offense and his defense isn't that great, or B, you build the team, and then in the next couple years, you have a team built where you can plop a quarterback in and he hits the ground running. I think that's the hope, is that the Patriots see their team that way. It's like, man, we have so many other holes to fill that drafting a quarterback right now, sure, we could get ourselves to Jaden Daniels, who we really like maybe, but it's not going to work. I think they would do it if a Drake May fell to them. Like I'm thinking, I guess I'm still thinking in the Bill Belichick era, because like Bill Belichick seems like, or Drake May seems like the perfect Bill Belichick quarterback, right? But like, I don't know. And so maybe there's a certain guy, if he falls to 3, they take him. If he doesn't, then maybe they're willing to play ball. Or before the draft, if someone offers them, if they, the word out there is that it's going to go Caleb Williams, Drake May, then they're sitting there like, well, we don't love Jaden Daniels that much. Let's make a move. And a lot of people are going to move up. So
Want to draft?
We'll see.
Want to mock?
It'll be interesting. We'll get there. Let's go through let's see some of these other comments we got here first. Penix is not good on the short passes. I did notice some of that. He was better than I had thought he was, but I noticed when he has to throw those outside, like those quick outside routes, like the out routes, that's kind of where he struggles, and he has a big wind up to it. And I do think also a lot of it is his kind of throwing motion, which I do get a little bit concerned about because
it's just so awkward watching left-handed people throw the ball.
It is, especially the way that he does things like that. He's Herbert and Allen combined. Talking about Drake May, it's interesting. It's a good take, and I don't think he doesn't run as much as Josh Allen did.
Yeah, he's Herbert, but I would put the lever way over onto Herbert, but Herbert still can move, right? He still can move a pile. It's not bad. Yeah. I think he's more like that.
Mm-hmm. Drake May is a real deal, and he'll be good and need to be coached up. Exactly, right? And that's why we really do need to hope that Kevin O'Connell can develop a quarterback. So we'll see. Young Cringe Gamer, thanks so much for hopping in, man. Appreciate you. JJ, Kirk, and Daniil gone by the beginning of the season. JJ, no. Kirk and Daniil.
We can't talk about the second one. We were told we couldn't.
Northfius, man, thanks for thanks for hopping in, Northfius. Appreciate it. You missed some of the stuff, but it's all stuff that I'm sure you've heard and read elsewhere. But mainly, we're on team don't trade JJ. We don't believe that the team won't extend him, and we'll see what happens with Kirk.
4-year extension for Kirk. That's basically the synopsis of last 41 minutes.
Yeah, we'll see. How do you build a team without any first or second round picks for 3 years? I mean,
so
I don't think it's going to be no first or second round picks. For me, first round picks, because I mean, it's great to get those first round talent guys, but I mean, if you can get your quarterback, then like first round picks are nice to have, but you can still find some good talent in the second, third. And you're not giving up all your future second and third round picks. Like it's going to take one, I would think.
Here's
one in either round, and not one of each.
So trading up into the top 3, we're probably gonna have to give away some capital. So Troy makes a good point, and I brought this up before, but God forbid I bring it up. The people who talk about getting rid of Kirk would be he's taking up too much of the cap space. Well, it doesn't really matter in 2024, but in 2025, right? Because we got this dead cap we're gonna just hit us this year if he's gone. So we could use all that capital for draft picks, or not, for free agents. We can get all these free agents. Okay, all these free agents. Well, Casey Keenum, we would have saved $8 million. We would have got so many free agents if we would have just signed him for $20 million like he did for Denver. No, you wouldn't got like one guy. But hey, with a rookie, now you're like, okay, we're saving all this money and get these free agents. What about the 4 rookie first and second rounders that you would have had? That would have been cheap, that you would have had for 4 or 5 years, that you would have developed, that rather than going out and get free agents that other teams couldn't afford or didn't want, right? So it's like, I would rather have the 4 picks. So that's why a JJ McCarthy trading up, getting him later, or having him fall to 11 is really appealing to me, because not only did you get your quarterback, you kept all those picks, and you got the money for free agency. So you can build a team around a guy like that.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing. Like if they're sitting there at pick number 11 and the top 3 are gone, JJ McCarthy's there, and they like JJ McCarthy, right? If they're sitting there looking at that and they're like, man, like we could trade back, we could build more draft capital, we could hit a position of need and get JJ McCarthy later. But who's to say that the Raiders don't see him and like, oh shit, if he falls us to 13, we're definitely taking him, right? Like here's the thing, and you don't need to Christian Ponder this deal. Like if you sit there and you like him enough, and it's not like the panic of, oh, we need a quarterback, and you're convinced like, hey, we could probably get him back a little bit more, but he's a quarterback. There's a couple quarterback needy teams behind us. We don't want to wait. We don't want to take the wait and see approach. We like him enough. We're just going to snag him at 11. Like you said, we save our future draft capital, and we really think he could turn out here. Like that would be the dream scenario. And if they do that, I think there's going to be some people mad, like, oh, you're taking him too high. But A, he's a quarterback, and B, if you love him, just make the move, right? Like take your guy, save your future draft capital, and then that's how you build the team correctly. So, and I mean, you'll be lucky to get McCarthy at 11. I do think by the time the draft comes around, I think there's going to be a team that likes him enough to make the move up and go get him.
That's why I was recommending this mock draft to do a trade up to get him, even though we'll get like a D+ for the move.
Yeah. Yeah, and that very well could happen. So we'll see what happens.
We're lucky to get a D+,
but absolutely
with PFF, anyways. It's funny. PFF I mean, he's going to be a top 10, PFF top 10, McCarthy top 10, and then he's available in the second round in their mock draft settings. Okay, PFF. Good one.
Kwesi has messed up the first round for the past 2 years. He had to be told to stay with Addison by the offensive coordinator. This was recorded. But that again, and that's my thing. Yes, I think it's 100% fair to sit here and criticize Kwesi and his drafting. I get that. But my thing is, and that's why I said this, because again, you don't come into a job like this. I get it. It was his first, it was questionable to hire him in the first place with the analytics background, right? But I do think you need, and it's, I mean, I get some people think the moves he made in the first draft were inexcusable, which you have a very, very valued argument there. This last year, if he didn't need to be told to stay and take, and take Jordan Addison, I get it. But
and we're talking about one clip, right? We're talking about one clip where he sits back and goes, I can trade, and he goes, stick to the plan.
Come on, Yogi.
And we take Jordan Addison. So we're basing that off of 3 seconds of video that Kwesi was told by his coach to take Jordan Addison. That's the only thing I think reference that, hey, he had to be told to take Jordan Addison. No, he basically confirmed the move with his coach.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I take it. I'm not a huge Kwesi guy. I'm probably a big KOC guy, but I'm like, I didn't pay any mind to that conversation. I was two guys talking, and he was basically getting his offensive coordinator / head coach telling him, take him. I'm like, it was just a comment, man. I said stupid shit doesn't mean I meant it.
Right. But okay, but finishing my thoughts on Kwesi, here's my deal.
Right, I had to climb.
Oh, you're good. I get it. No, it was a good spot to interject for sure. But like, I'm still sitting there on the fence on Kwesi, right? I'm more like, okay, maybe it's because I'm young and naive when it comes to this football team. And I know a lot of people in here have seen a lot more than I have, and they're ready for this mediocrity misery to be over, and they want to just make that next step into constant Super Bowl contention. I get that. But I'm a little more patient, and I'm sitting and waiting. I'm on the wait and see mode, right? Like, I'm still on the fence, but I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. But this year will be big for me. If he doesn't have a good draft again, and if the other picks don't work out, and if you just get the feeling that he's just not working out in this role, I think year 3 is going to be a huge year for him with that, because he's had 2 years of experience to try different things, and now he's kind of learned what works and what doesn't. So this year for me will be where, after this season's over and maybe after the draft, is when I'll be able to sit back and really decide what side I'm on with Kwesi. Because I like you, I'm still a Kevin O'Connell guy. I believe in what he's selling me, but Kwesi, it's still 100% questionable. I'm on the fence. I'm giving him this season to make my final determination. Like, if he fucks his draft up and he doesn't get a quarterback and he makes a bad trade and he doesn't get any pieces that work out this season, then I'm going to sit there and be like, okay, this team might have a general manager problem.
Everybody thought the Lions fucked up the draft.
Nope. Right. But like, shut the hell up. We'll shut the hell up and sign the check.
Here's something that I recently did a poll on. Who would you rather have? May, Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy. You know how it ended up? Like 350 votes. 40% Drake May, 40% Jaden Daniels, and 20% JJ McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't get either Caleb Williams or Drake May, there is going to be 20 to 40% of our fan base that thinks he effed up. Guaranteed.
Right.
40 to maybe even 60% of the fan base thought they went and got the wrong quarterback. Or I'll say 20 to 40, because people probably would have been okay with Jaden Daniels. But 20, I thought it was a little low. JJ McCarthy. I thought May would have been third.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he was first, or he was first most of the poll, and then Jaden Daniels caught up. So no matter what Kwesi does in this draft, whatever quarterback it is, there's going to be 20 to 40% of the fan base that thinks it was a crap move.
All right, and that's the thing with, like, again, I agree. No matter what, some part of, like, there's going to be people in this fan base with whatever move we make, they're going to be angry. I do feel like that's something with this Vikings community. I do think there are a lot of people who just, they want to be angry, so they'll criticize every move. Maybe their moms didn't hug them enough as a child. I don't really know, but there are the people you see like that. You see out there like that, who just every move they make is just negative. Oh, I hate this team. Oh,
I'm gonna be honest, my mom didn't hug me a whole lot.
but that's not the point I'm trying to make here. But either way, it's just like, There's people that just love to be angry about this team no matter what happens. And you're going to have those people. It's like, that's not the quarterback I wanted. They fucked up. And you're going to have the ones being like, oh, this is the best thing that could have happened to this team. And you just got to sit and deal with it because that's just the way that the world works. But again, if they love the guy, I'm gonna be on board with whatever quarterback they decide to take if they love him enough. Because if they take him, it shows me they love this guy. If they take a Spencer Rattler in the first round, then I'm gonna start scratching my head and being like,
or in the second or third.
That's a bad value move right there. Because if you love him, fine, but don't take him now, take him later. So I don't know. It kind of is what it is. Young Cringe, you have a great idea. I saw that comment back there about trading first round picks. So in 32 years, you have every single one in the first round. That's a great way to build your team. I love it. Bob, thanks so much for hopping in. I don't agree with you to sign Wentz, but we appreciate you hopping in anyway. So Northfield, here's my deal, right? Like I'll just be simple with it. I don't hate the Wilfs as much as everybody else do. I think the Wilfs are.
I think it's a very small minority of people hate the Wilfs.
Well, and I under because I think, and I get it. Like I do, you do question, are they the ones behind the scenes pulling the strings? Like I do think that they were the ones that had the whole competitive rebuild plan. I also do think that Ryan Poles didn't come here because they didn't want him to blow up the team. I do think that's legitimate. But I also think they're sitting here with a superstar wide receiver in their hands and being like, how can you blow up a team when you have this chess piece on your board, right? So I'm not mad they want to remain competitive. Do I still think they need to make a move to get to the next level? I do. And I do think that will come this year with drafting a quarterback. So I still love the Wilfs. I think, like, you go back to when they signed Kirk Cousins the first time, like, they could have been complacent and stuck with Case Keenum, right? But they felt like Spielman said, if this is what you think we need to do to take the next step, well, you take the money and you go do it.
He basically signed the biggest free agent
right. But
ever.
Yeah.
But basically.
But that's not like the point.
That's what he was being billed at. I was a guy that's saying, hey, let's give this young kid Sloter a chance. I wasn't even thinking about Kirk Cousins. Like, okay, everybody's excited. I'll be okay. And then I was like, I wasn't on board. I started to like him in the Saints game in the playoffs, and then I didn't really start liking him until like 5 weeks into the 2020 season. And then I'm like 21, 22, 23 played great. I'm like, I don't know why. And I have no complaints about the way he played. But yeah, with the Wilfs, I mean, oh my gosh, they are so bad that they built this beautiful stadium.
Well, I mean,
and then paid it off early, and then they got the facilities that no longer have wood paneling on it, and they interview in a poll. The support pole is in the middle of the locker room. I don't know if you remember those interviews that people would just sit up against that pole and do interviews. And then, like, you could see Spielman's office was wood paneling from the late 70s, early 80s. I'm like, man, we made this a destination. They were the number one NFLPA free agent destination. I mean, there's nothing that they didn't do that they didn't spare any expense. Right. They paid off the freaking loans early. Now to the extent of have we had any inkling where these guys says, don't go get that guy? I think Spielman, this GM have had all. I think Spielman said, yeah, I had to run it by the ownership, which is I don't think they've ever vetoed anything. I've never seen a report. That they were going to make this move, but ownership vetoed it. I have never seen a report like that.
Well, I mean, because I know that there were the rumors out there when that's what happened with the whole Jim Harbaugh thing, where Kwesi really wanted him, and they said, nah, we're going with this young guy instead. Which, again, I don't think there was ever any legitimate, like, true name behind that either. But
there was talk about that woman that was part of the hiring team Eagles, that just had it out for him. But honestly, the biggest thing I heard was that, hey, he came thinking he already had the job. Right. Oh, I have to interview. And then he just winged it, But I want the long term. I want the 10, 15-year coach, not the 5-year rental. That's the way I was looking at it. So I wasn't down on getting KOC over to Jim Harbaugh. I was excited to get Jim Harbaugh.
I was hyped for you. I was checking. I was
on the train
my phone constantly until I saw what happened there.
When he left and we didn't sign him, I said, "Oh my God, did you just have this up?" And then I got to know KOC, and that was a different story.
Mm-hmm.
Could have Eberflus.
Right. No, but I mean, I don't hate, like, here's the thing. I don't know. I think the biggest concern comes about, like, are the Wilfs letting Kwesi do his job, which again, I'm not there. I have no inside info. I don't really know. I mean, if someone can send me an article with that proof that they're not letting him do his job, then I will read it. But
It makes
I don't see it the other way either, I guess. So I don't really. I mean, I don't know. All I know is if you're a true Minnesota fan and you watch the Twins and you see the Pohlads, you will appreciate
real.
You will appreciate the Wilfs.
That's
the
real.
Suck.
Pohlads are real. This whole but there's no cap room or the revenue sharing in the NFL is just out of control. So in the way I look at it too, and we didn't bring up this point, the cap space the next 2, 3, 4 years is going to be ridiculous.
Which again we'll get a little mucky with the Jefferson extension. I understand that, but still, you're still gonna have enough money to throw around a couple free agents out there. And again, I honestly, I personally, I'm kind of on the side where I'd like to see Daniil back. I don't think he comes back, and I think it's more him than it is us. I think he just finds too much money elsewhere. And I think if you're Daniil Hunter, I do think you're out there trying to find the most money and most guarantees you can get. And I don't think he's going to find that here. Which again, is that a slight on, do you worry about that with the Justin Jefferson signing? Sure. But I don't know. I'd love to have Daniil back, but I don't see it happening. I'm fine with KOC for now. I agree. And like I said, the first, like you have 3 years for, like this year, I'll judge Kwesi. I've been really high on Kevin O'Connell. This next year, I think again for him, it's going to be a big thing as well. I mean, again, there was also that report that he might get an extension early, which again, I don't know if there was ever any legitimate source behind that either. It was all just conjecture, words that were out there, but I don't know. We'll see. But I think this will definitely be a big year for Kevin O'Connell as well as Kwesi for sure.
I think we got the right coach as long as we pair him with a good defensive coordinator. I think if we flipped years with defensive coordinators, we'd be talking about an NFC title game, if not something else.
Yeah,
that was not a bad defense. That was a bad coach.
Yeah, and Two Evil. That's definitely. I mean, that's 100% a fair take because Kevin O'Connell. The first year, you got a little bit lucky. I do think he did help will that team to work some of those wins. And I get it. You had some turnovers at the end of the games that were lucky by your defense, but then last year, I think he took his lumps. And now year 3, you've had the highs, you've had the lows. Now, can you find a steady path right in the middle and be more on that high side? I think that's going to be big for him this year. And I do think that all starts with, and that's the thing. If they find their future franchise quarterback, they each will get at least 2 more years, right? Like you would think. If I feel like if the offseason doesn't go the Vikings way, as in learning, everyone leaves, Kwesi will get fired. I mean, I think if we draft a quarterback not of KOC's makeup, I think he'll find himself out the door later in 2025. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, because obviously Kevin O'Connell's going to have a big say in who this quarterback is. Like, I think he's going to be the driving force behind who they take. So and I think if they do take him, if they do take a quarterback, I think it's going to be a guy that he looks at and says, he'll work in my offense and I'll be able to work around him. And I'm not talking about having 2 weeks over the bye to prepare a whole new offense for Josh Dobbs. I'm talking about taking a guy could be on your team for the next 10, 15 years and morphing what you already have on offense around that. Yes, does he need to get better in the run game? Absolutely. He needs to commit to it more. But again, it's all a learning experience, right? So I think this year is going to be huge for him. And again, like North Face, I get why you wouldn't like him. I get why a lot of people don't. But I think just wanting him to be gone and all the hate he got this last year, I do think it's a little bit unfair.
What do you got, 13 games as a first-year head coach,
right? And I get like this last year. I mean, with I don't know the injuries and everything.
Turned the team around. We were back in it. We were 6-4 with all that shit that happened, and then people figured out Dobbs.
Yeah, I don't know,
but up until that point, man.
But again, it's gonna be a big year for all of them, and I'm excited to see what happens. Like this, we'll know, and like Skol Mafia said earlier, we'll know a lot after the draft. We'll know a lot as free agency starts, the March 11th, March 13th. But then the draft, we're definitely gonna know what the future looks like. And whether we trade up early or we trade up, trade up during the draft, there's a lot, man. There's a lot. The KOC hate is well deserved, though. By all metrics, Dobbs looked worse in Arizona. Hall looked worse. I don't, but he's a second-year head coach, man. Like and I get it, like a second-year full-time offensive play caller. Like there's going to be some lumps you need to take, but you can see. But the thing is, you can see his vision.
Won one game in Arizona. 1-7.
He did beat Dallas though, which was big. But you can see his vision. And the big thing with Dobbs is he took Dobbs, a guy who had learned a completely different offense for the first 8 weeks, and you're bringing him in and shoving him into your I don't think the plan was ever for Dobbs to play. It was to have Dobbs there.
He wasn't at all expected to play.
We don't make that Dobbs trade if Nick Mullins is healthy. And yes, like Zoe said here, like KOC brought Mullins here. Mullins at least could operate the offense.
Great freaking move
between the 20s.
Mullins
could operate that offense.
Mullins threw that offense like the back of his hand. He just lacks the arm strength to make some of those throws and was playing from behind because for some reason we just stopped figuring out how to play defense for him. That he had to play from behind the whole time. It's like, come on.
But a lot. I mean, again, there's a reason.
Mullins is a good backup quarterback. So much better than most backup quarterbacks in this league. Up until him starting and throwing 4 picks in one game. And that was the Lions game, right? He threw 4 picks, and the fourth one was we were at like the 30-yard line going in. I'm like, to win the game, it's like, come on, man. This guy brought us back. We were about to beat Detroit, and then he throws a pick.
Right.
Doesn't have arm strength.
And he made a lot of dumb decisions. That's why I said between the 20s he could operate.
I know you guys talk about him falling down, but one of the situations was that third down, don't take a sack to get out of field goal range.
Right, but here's the thing.
He thought he was throwing the ball away, and the guy caught it.
Right, but here's the thing. But here's the thing with Mullins, right? Is like, and again, could this be poor planning on the front office? Absolutely. Where you don't expect Kirk Cousins to get hurt, he never does. You never expected that to happen. You didn't think Mullins would be playing. Mullins is a solid. If you need Mullins to start 1 or 2 games for you, you could probably win those. You might be able to win one of those 2 games. But if you need him to start an expanded stretch where you're juggling quarterbacks around because you bring a guy in who's trying to learn a completely new offense and Josh Dobbs midseason, none of that's ever going to work out. And that's why
find me a guy.
I get that you cannot like Kevin O'Connell, but I also think you need to be a little bit more patient. To be like, hey, he had a rough season. He had a rough go of it. Every team has injuries. Sure. He made some questionable decisions. Absolutely. But you got to give him a chance to find his guy. And that needs to happen this year.
Yeah. I don't want to.
I mean, it is what it is. I get everyone has opinions. That's what we're all here for. I think everybody has solid opinions here. And I understand. I'm not as super high on Mullins as some people, but I think he's okay.
He's completely fine backup quarterback.
He is.
Name me a guy that has 4 or 5 400-yard games.
What's going on, AJ?
Name a guy that has more, 350 or higher games than this.
I agree. Right.
He's got up until one of the games, he had 17 games with 4,500 yards with 30 touchdowns in his career.
Right. But again, but that was the big thing. Is he you look at his, I believe he had 30 touchdowns and 20 some interceptions when he played for.
So he had a lot of picks, and that was his problem.
Right.
But he's also playing on subpar teams and playing from behind a lot. But he's orchestrated blowouts. He came in and won the game that got him the starting gig. Right. He came in at halftime and won the game, right?
The 3-0 game, the barn burner.
Yeah.
But
he won it.
But here's the thing though. Here's the thing though, young cringe gamer. This was a quarterback who came in and had to learn a completely new offense. And Kevin O'Connell had to try to get this guy to learn his offense that fast. He had the whole offseason in Arizona to prepare for being the starter, with knowing Kyler Murray wasn't going to be there. So
how many
you got to factor that in a little
young
bit.
Cringe gamer, how many Cardinals games did you watch? I don't know. I didn't watch any, but so I can't really.
I watched the highlights of the Dallas game. I
can't point out really anything. I've watched highlights of him prior to us drafting him, and my thought process: this guy is coming in to hold a clipboard, which it was. If Jaren Hall doesn't get hurt, he doesn't play at all, and Mullins comes in and probably takes over for Jaren Hall if he falters. So Dobbs was the third choice all along. But unfortunately, 5 days into his Vikings career, he's starting. He has 2 good quarters, the last quarter of the Atlanta game and the second quarter of the Saints game. And honestly, he didn't play too bad the first half of the Denver game. But the second half of that Saints game, he got found out. Well, and I blame a lot of that on KOC.
Again, the jury's out. There's a lot of things that this next season will tell us. So I'm excited to see what happens.
I got a hard break in 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Okay. You wanted to mock. Let's do this thing. All right. How many rounds are you doing?
So here's a care of positional value. This is why you get Jaden Hall at 11. Or Jaden Daniels at 11. Less? No, you got to put like 50. And that way he goes 1, 2, 3.
50?
Yeah, he'll go 1, 2, 3 then.
Okay. And how many rounds are we doing? Just 3, 7, 5, 6, 2? We don't have a third round pick, so 3 kind of doesn't make sense, but
do 5.
Do 5? Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right.
Now do slow because we're gonna try to trade up, right?
You want to go slow, or just like mid-tier slow?
Well, we gotta trade up. Where we trade up to? We gotta trade up to, let's say, Tennessee to get above Atlanta. Right?
You're thinking Tennessee?
Yeah, because Atlanta needs a QB, right?
Yeah, so you're thinking trade up to 7. That's
let's just say we trade up to 7 to get in front of Atlanta. So when it gets to 7, stop, and we'll trade with Tennessee.
Sounds good. Let's let her roll. So Caleb Williams makes sense. Probably Drake May makes sense. Jane Daniels. Ooh, Malik Neighbors. They go wide receiver.
Okay, this is weird.
Now the Giants will take him. Probably. Okay, so now what do you want to do?
Yeah, Jaden Daniels is there. We probably would have went and got him at. Well, we went because Marvin Harrison, they took him there, and then New York. We probably would have. Nate Wiggins, man, 6. Damn. All right, yeah. I guess let's get Jaden Daniels at 7. Let's try to get him up and get 7? Up there.
What are you thinking? You tell me, and I'll make the trades.
Well, next year's first, and
Likely.
See what happens.
And I mean,
no. So let's do next year. Let's do. I don't want to give up this year's second.
Right, but let's be realistic.
Let's give up a 4th and well, do next because this is only moving up 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. Would it be at all if we did instead of first round the next year, our second round? Put a second round.
We can just when it comes down to it because you can't do a few years out, and I honestly don't think they would just take this Damwell Norton coming up for a quarterback. So we'll toss in this. Just to say we're giving up another first round pick, maybe, or even a second next year, something. I mean, they'll just take this straight up, which again, I don't necessarily believe would actually happen, obviously.
Well, it's 4 spots.
It is. Fuck it. We'll just say maybe we toss in around 3. We'll run with it. We're moving up. Oh, shoot. I forgot to offer trade. My bad. I don't do this often. I make a terrible GM.
Offer trade.
Boom. Okay, they took it. So you're thinking... You want to go Jaden Daniels here?
Yeah, might as well.
Plan was JJ, but
Jaden Daniels. Okay, we lucked out, got JJ.
Right, and again, I hear
Daniels.
I hear the PFF mock draft simulator has been a little bit off as of late. But like I don't expect him to be here at this point.
Bo Nix, let's go Bo Nix.
set the Vikings universe on fire. Right. We'll go Jaden Daniels. He's sitting there. Why not?
All right, now what I would like to do is trade down.
Cool. So we'll speed it up a little bit. We'll let it get to our next pick because I guess we don't really need to worry.
I would want to trade down.
Trade down for 42, huh? I guess it all depends on who's there, right?
And
Gayuma?
Yeah, because go look at inside our defensive linemen.
We got Chris Jenkins, Rook Rororo, Brandon Dorless.
Look at that. They got
Fiskey,
rank 90, average draft position 70 for Devondre Sweat. So here's the deal. We could do something real cool here.
What's that?
We can trade down, and whatever we can do to get a third. Oh, yeah. Here, look at whatever to get a third. And then I want to trade back in and get Sweat back in the bottom of the second round.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know. I get that that's what the draft position thing says, but like I don't know if he's gonna last that long.
Average 70th though. He's averaging 70 ADP right now.
Okay. So where do you want to go here? What was your plan? Then you want to trade with who?
Well, what do we got?
Because I don't know. I don't
We
think
got
you're going to
three. We got three
all the
offers
options here. But it's the Saints at 45, the Jags at 48, and the Steelers at 52 are the options.
So do 45.
Okay.
Because then we can keep trading, maybe.
And what else?
Oh, they don't have. Go look at a different one. They don't have a third rounder.
Okay. Next would be the Jags. So you're looking that.
Wait. So that's
96 would be 3.
Yeah, the last third. What's the go to the other one and see what they have. There's a third one.
84.
Oh, that's better.
You want that one?
Yeah, let's see if we can get that.
Boom. Resume. Okay, we got it. All right.
Now we're cooking with. We got 2 offers.
There's a ton left. You want to keep trading?
Well, I mean, we got a lot of people tell me we got a lot of holes, man. We
drop down to 58
and
another 6 picks.
Get another because I want to trade back into the second round.
It's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough. I don't think they want that.
Maybe we can offer them something else. Offer them 130.
Offer them 130.
Yeah.
145. 157. 166. Wait a minute.
Offer them 130.
179. 51% chance. Offer trade. Offer again. Got it.
All right.
Brilliant.
Okay. So now I feel good. Let's take somebody.
Take T'Vondre Sweat. Is he still there?
No, I'm gonna trade back into and get him. So we'll slow the speed down.
Well, we're at 58, so
let's slow the speed down. We can get 2 guys here is what I'm talking about.
So what are you thinking? Where do you want to go here?
Well, true. We could take him here and then we know we have him and then we could trade in to get somebody else. But what do we have? Oh, what are some of our choices?
Safety. People mad if we took another safety this year, probably. I got a corner from Oregon. Got Chris Jenkins. He's there. I don't know, man. I'm sitting here looking at T'Vondre Sweat, and I'm loving that. Again,
okay.
Is it
to make sure we get our guy? Go get him.
Just take him. Take T'Vondre Sweat.
Yeah,
I like it. I'm cool.
And now we don't need to trade up.
Right, and now we can just take the rest of these picks. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know a ton when it gets to this. Gonna get to this point. I don't watch a ton of college football during the college football seasons. I spend my Saturday doing other things.
So look at what round are we in? 3rd?
Yes.
And what are our picks? 3. What picks we got? 84 and 89?
Yep.
What's the running back situation look like?
You're looking running back already, huh?
And it might be a good one. Yeah, look at this. Okay, let's get we got some running backs. Let's look at linebacker or cornerback.
Okay. Get another.
I hear that Notre Dame guy's pretty good.
What's that?
I heard that Notre Dame guy's pretty good.
Leafau?
Look at him. See, he's a linebacker, but what? What's his size? 6'2", 239.
Fire Quasi.
We need edge. Go look at edge.
All these guys feel maybe a little bit too rich for me.
Yeah, these guys will be there.
Chi-Town Vikes thinks we should look D line again, which honestly I wouldn't hate, and I kind of agree with.
We could use a D end, like a 3-4 D end.
But I think that's kind of what they lump into edge rusher, and just there's not a lot of guys I love at this point. Clock's running out. We don't want to miss the pick, Dave. What do we got? Kamara is an animal. I did hear that. I did hear he's pretty solid.
Who do you say?
Kamara. Let me.
Oh, the running back.
Yeah. Yep.
Or
Colorado State.
Oh, edge Kamara.
Oh, yeah. You're thinking Elvin Kamara. Bad, not, but I feel like this is definitely a guy we could get. We could grab later.
Yeah, we get in the 5th.
We got to make a decision. What are we doing?
Give me the D-backs again.
Well, if I even look, I don't even pulled up corner. I know a lot of people love Cam Hart.
The cornerback,
the Skol Mafia's guy right here.
Let's get a cornerback.
Take a corner. Should we grab him a little early, but solid in coverage, decent against, pretty solid against the run, solid man.
He destroyed.
No interceptions, but
he is part of the defense that shut down Caleb Williams.
You going him? What do you think?
Sure. Either
Cam
or.
Hart, let's do it. We'll take Cam Hart. Maybe could have gotten him at 89 because I forgot we had 89, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Now we can get the running back or edge, but we can get the edge that the guy liked in the 5th.
Yeah. So what are you thinking?
I'd say get a running back. We got our choice. Oh, let's go South Dakota State.
What's that?
There was a running back, South Dakota. Oh, never mind. There was a. Oh, go back to the draft. There was a South Dakota State guy. Who was it? Mason McCormick. We need a guard.
6'5", 315. That's some good size right there.
Look at that. We could go guard and go running back later.
92, maybe a little rich for him right now, but me and Jamie like this guy. We saw some of his highlights. I like him a lot.
Okay, let's go guard.
Go guard.
Yeah, let's go.
Which one you thinking? You want your guys?
Anyone? Anyone.
Get some running backs. Great pick available. I mean, we have 20.
Okay, go. Let's see. They want running back.
Yeah, we have 20.
Yeah, let's go running back.
20 picks till our
next
next
running
guy.
back. Let's get Blake Corum.
Which running back?
Click Bucky Irving. I know less about him.
Get the kid from Western Michigan. Which Neyland, Western Michigan. Did I type that right? Oh. Maybe he's
just an N.
Simulator. Bucky's my guy. Should we do it? Just grab a running back?
Yeah, just grab either of those top two. It's fine.
They might not give us a very good grade, but it'd be what it be, right? And now maybe look at interior O-line. Ooh.
Yeah, now just take your dude.
Your South Dakota State guy is gone, but I do like this. I do like this Cooper Beebe. Dude, just look. I mean, just 6'4", 335.
Take him.
Gave up 2 sacks, but damn, dude, he's big.
There we go.
Bucky's the Gibbs of this draft. You think, huh? I was a big Jahmyr Gibbs guy last year, so I'd be pumped with that. We need a center. That is true. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, there's a Michigan dude. I think probably this late.
Just load up on that interior deal. I mean,
yeah.
I'm
look at these Michigan dudes.
I'm fine with also looking here again. I mean, maybe a little later at this point. But I mean, yeah, 6'6", 315. I do think we need more interior help, but we need a guard. We just drafted a guard. We got Cooper Beebe.
Yeah, look, this is we're still in the 4th round. We can get the guard. We can get one of these guards or centers in the 5th round.
Right. What are we thinking now, though? We need. Where are we looking?
What's this LSU dude?
This one?
Yeah.
3 sacks, 2 hits, 76.5 against the good pass rusher, a decent pass rusher, not great against the run. 6'6", 315. But also, I mean, you have Tavondre Sweat to be your big run stuffer.
Yeah, this guy would play D end.
Getting a guy in that spot in the 3-4 defense that can maybe pressure the quarterback a little more. I mean, I'm fine.
We got an edge. Is there edge?
Or not edge necessarily, but that whatever, like that position along the edge of the line there.
3-4 D end.
Yep. All right. Now we're sitting here. 3 picks left to go. What are you thinking? Another quarterback?
Look at the center. Because we might not re-sign Schlotman. Drake Nugent.
I hear this guy sticks around. I know I see I watch Yeah, I was talking up Cooper Beebe a lot last spring. His dad probably nice, and I really like what I see out of Cooper Beebe. So that'd be sick.
And Drake Nugent, I'd say yeah, center.
Pick someone's name that starts with J. Let's see here. Chi-Town Vikes likes Wingo.
I could deal
Yeah.
it. Who is it? 295, 6'1"?
Yeah, it would probably be more. Definitely. I mean, again, I guess he's solid run defense great too. Just build up the interior of that defensive line.
Well, you're taking a shot at a guy this late anyway, so
I kind of like it. I'd be down.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Sure. Build up that interior defensive line. Cool with that.
Okay, now take a center. Gone. Or no, is he?
He's still there. Drake Nugent. I've been watching some of One Bar and Lupicus's mock drafts, and Drake Nugent. They say Drake Nugent sticks around very late, but we're picking him right at his average draft position. So fine, I'm in.
Yeah.
One pick left.
Oh shit, we still got another one.
We do probably need some linebacker depth.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we
may not re-sign Troy Dye and or Jordan Hicks. I need a run stuffer.
A run stuffer at linebacker?
Yeah. I need a big dude.
He definitely, his run defense grade isn't great. But then you're kind of looking down the guys you could get way later.
Yeah. I take the best player available then.
Let's grab, I mean, at a position that we need.
Did we draft a corner?
I don't think we did. Oh no, we drafted Cam Hart. Yep, we drafted Cam Hart.
Oh yeah, we did. We did.
Yeah.
We covered.
I'm fine with grabbing. I'm fine with just grabbing a linebacker here.
All right.
We need Hicks back. I would 100% be cool with Jordan Hicks coming back. I thought
yeah, it would be good. He'd be we need we're bad against the run, so we need to have somebody.
Okay, they kind of murdered us in some of our picks. The Jaden Daniels pick, they gave a C. Maybe it's the trade. I don't know if the trade's involved there, but the Jaden Daniels pick at 7, giving a C+. Interesting. Devondre Sweat, a D. I mean, I get it. We took him earlier than they projected, but I don't think he ends up lasting this long.
I don't think anybody would argue with us taking him in the second round.
Oh, no, absolutely not. If they got Jaden Daniels and Devondre Sweat in the second round, if they didn't need to give up
A+
to get up.
That's an A+ in real life.
Then you get yourself a corner, filling up some positions of need. A running back that a lot of people like. Cooper Beebe, who I really enjoyed. You got 2 guys from LSU along that defensive interior. If one of them works out to go along with Devondre Sweat, you're set. Then you just kind of take in highest BPA from what PFF was showing us to grab a center and a linebacker, both positions you do need a little depth at. And
they gave us C+ and a D our first 2 picks. They still gave us a B+.
Skol SU. Keep bringing them, man. You got Jaden Daniels. You got the 2 defensive interior. You got Justin Jefferson.
We love LSU.
We do. I'd be 100% down. But there you go. There's another mock draft for everybody. Dave, great scenario there. We get up, get our guy. Hunter, JJ, Roy, and Trenches. Absolutely. No more cornerback. Yeah. There are a lot of young cornerbacks on this team. Not a lot of them have shown us a ton yet, but hopefully get some step ups there. I mean, I know Andrew Booth he looked better this year, limited playing time, obviously. What's his name? Caleb Evans was very up and down, a lot of down near the end of the year. So bringing in Hart, doing whatever, I think it'd be great. Missed out on Kamara, so I'll drop that down to an A-. Yeah, I guess we probably could have taken a swing there. Appreciate it, Chi-Town Vikes. We filled a lot of positions of need here. And I mean, if this is how the draft ended up for the Vikes, I would not be upset. So
I would be doing cartwheels.
Cornerback and free agency. Exactly. I do think this team does need another experienced corner, whether Murphy sticks around or not. I do think that experience isn't Snead. Yeah, if you could bring him in, keep his helmet on though on the field at all times. We don't want those flags going our way. You're not going to get away with that here. I'm sorry.
No, you get flagged if you're in purple on that.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, Bob. Appreciate it. That's a lot of fun. Mock drafts are fun. I mean, obviously, they never really go the way that anybody expects because something happens in the real draft that shakes things up. But it's always fun to just go with some different scenarios. Would you guys like the Vikings trading for Kyler or Tua? I'm going to say no, just because we're right back in the same scenario that people don't like with Kirk Cousins, is where we're paying a quarterback a lot of money And are they the ones that are going to get you over the hump? They haven't shown us that they are. So I think we end up right back in the same exact
Yeah,
scenario.
let's
that
trade
we're in
for
right
even a
now.
more expensive quarterback.
At this point, yes. But I love mock drafts. They are fun. It like the best part is being able to like just play with some different scenarios and just like, if this happens, what could we do? Like, obviously we don't expect to be able to trade up to 7 and get Jaden Daniels. Like, some
How is
other
that
team
a
might
C
move and get
plus
him,
is
but
beyond me. I have no idea what the
me neither.
hell.
Me neither. It's crazy.
What would we
JP
got if we drafted JJ there?
Yeah, right.
All right, man. I gotta call it quits.
Okay, sounds good. Everybody, we appreciate you hopping in. I believe next week we'll probably be off. Jamie's still out. Unless something big comes up, we'll probably just, I don't know if you're cool with taking next week off, Dave.
Sure.
Yeah, unless something big comes up, maybe we'll hop on and talk about it. But then we will be back. Jamie is moving states again. I believe moving to North Carolina this time. So once he's all settled down, we'll be back in full swing. And then at that point, we'll have the combine done, and then we'll be the week after that, I will be gone because I'll be at a concert. So we'll be back in full force in like a month, almost, about 3 weeks. But Cam needs to practice mock drafts. There was the rumors about him using PFF to do his drafts, which, again, rumors that I think was still bullshit, but we'll see. We'll see. The wish fulfillment for mock drafts is great. Exactly, man. You can make anything happen that you want because they, like Skol Mafia said earlier, they allow you to force trades before the draft even starts. But honestly, by the time that all three of us are back together, it'll be the Wednesday night of free agency starting up. So we'll have a lot to talk about there. I think that's going to be
live shit happening.
That's going to be a fun Wednesday show, and I really look forward to that. But we have a little bit yet. Thanks again, though, everybody, for hopping in tonight. We appreciate everything. Both channels will have content coming out within the next week.
Check out my video tomorrow when I post it.
Absolutely.
Me and Luke Braun.
Talking with Luke Braun tonight. Video will be up tomorrow morning on Minnesota Sports Talk. Subscribe to both channels if you haven't already. And yeah, man, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great offseason, a lot of fun, a lot of
All right, I
interesting
gotta go.
things to talk about coming up. Thanks everybody for hopping in. See you next time.